everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today in our webinar, specifically to talk about the Exel Gaming Accelerator. Today, we're joined by three speakers: Faisal Sadrani, CEO of Exel by Merak; Abdullah Sharif, Principal of Venture Capital at Merak Capital; and Kelly Smack, our entrepreneur in residence from Cohort 2 and joining us in Cohort 3, and Program Advisor. Today, they will go in more details about the Gaming Accelerator and every aspect related to it. Throughout the presentations that they will be presenting, you are free to submit your questions in the Q&A section of the webinar, and we will be starting to answer all of your questions at the end. Again, thank you. Faisal, you can go ahead and start.
Welcome everyone. Very excited to have you guys with us in this webinar. Hopefully in this webinar we can shed some light on the program structure, the program journey, what is expected from you guys, and we can answer all of your questions. Again, to emphasize more, please submit your questions in the Q&A section so we can have the time to answer them all. So, what is Exel Gaming Accelerator? So, Exel Gaming Accelerator, it's a gaming accelerator focused on supporting pre-seed and seed companies, gaming studios who have already some kind of vertical slice, a playable game, one level, some kind of a product to show. And in the Exel Gaming Accelerator, we will focus on how you can create a monetizable company on top of that project. If you have a game already, it's the right time to join the accelerator to try to create and focus on how to create a company that can make profit and succeed and sustain. It's an investment opportunity. So whoever joins the accelerator will get an investment, will have the opportunity to talk with expertise in the gaming industry, will have access to strategic partners who can help that studio grow, and access the local and the global markets. So our mission is to close the gaps in the ecosystem of gaming and tech in general. Our approach usually is to try to find where is the gaps in the market, how we can support that gap, and try to close it with the support of the startup. In the gaming industry, we noticed that there is a gap in how we can commercialize those products or those games that are produced from those startups. So that's where we come in to try to bridge that gap and help those startups and help the ecosystem in general. Our vision is to generally lead the growth in that ecosystem that we are trying to target. In this case, the gaming industry, how we can position the kingdom as a pioneer, as a leader in that industry. So to explain where our accelerator fits in the value chain of the gaming industry in general. So in the last, I would say 5 to 6, maybe 7 years, the focus was on to create educational and upskill programs that can help those startups or help those individuals in uplifting their skills. And then the ideation stage and the incubation stage was a huge focus in the last years. Now we come in to plug in at the end of the idea and the incubation stage to try to support early stage companies with investment and acceleration. With the focus at the end on creating a local champion, a pioneer that can be a North Star for all startups or anyone that are trying to enter into this industry. Madri, Abdullah, if you have anything to comment here also.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Faisal mentioned, we're Merak, we're not an accelerator. Accelerator is one part of what we do. So we're looking to find great entrepreneurs from the pre-seed level. As you can see, that's kind of the span of our investment program, we would call it. So it's for the next 10 years. We want to invest in companies from the pre-seed, seed, and so on, up until we see you, inshallah, one of those champions. And a champion, in my eyes, is someone who pushes the company to a level where they're profitable. You can make the games that you want to make. Your company, inshallah, is worth billions, and I get to take a small cut of those billions and put them in my pocket. That's the ultimate goal.
Amazing. So to understand more about the structure and the journey of the program, the program started with the sourcing and selection phase, which we are now in. We called for application, people start applying, and the stage of qualification and selection started already, and it's underway. We will have the application opened for a couple of weeks, no more than that. So please take the chance to apply. The application is very simple, but our selection criteria is a bit tough. So the sooner that you apply, the more chance that you will get your application reviewed by the team. After the selection and sourcing step or phase, we go into the bootcamp. So the bootcamp is a 2-week virtual bootcamp. It's a very intense kind of filtering stage. We usually accept around 50 to 60 studios in the bootcamp. We give you lectures, we give you a hint, a taste of what you can expect in the accelerator phase. And then we test your commitment, your readiness to join the program and get investment from Merak Gaming Fund. After the bootcamp is done, you will have a pitching session for 2 days for the full 50 startups. Each one will have a slot of around 20 minutes to pitch. After those 2 days, we will have a filtration stage by the accelerator committee. So the accelerator committee will review your progress in the bootcamp and then select who is joining the accelerator phase and getting the investment. In the accelerator, we usually accept around 15 to 20 startups to join a 14-week accelerator in person in Riyadh to uplift and grow your studio. After that, we go to the demo day. We usually host a huge demo day. Usually the attendees around 400 to 450, sometimes 500. In the bootcamp, in the demo day, you will have a booth to showcase your game. You will get a chance to pitch in front of investors, government entities, a huge pool of clients and possible partners. And they will game test your products in the booth. It will be a grand kind of day celebrating your success throughout the program. It doesn't end after the demo day. It goes to a post-program support. The post-program support, it's a 3-month support after the program, where we touch bases with you guys to understand if you have any more challenges, any problems that we can help you with, measure your success, introduce you to some of the partners that we have, and so on. So we will not leave you there. It's an important kind of point, Abdulillah, to mention about the life cycle of the fund here, since after the program, you'll be joining the Merak portfolio in Merak Gaming Fund. So I will leave it to Abdulillah to explain more about that.
Yeah. So to really make it simple, we're doing the accelerator to help upskill great gaming founders. So we know you can build the games, and we know you can understand the market probably better than us, and we know you're technically a lot more capable than we would do. But ultimately, what we're not looking at building games, we're looking at building companies. So to build a company, you need capital, you need risk, and you need to make few mistakes until you get there. And that's where we are. So we do this program. The idea behind it is to really give you a high-level understanding of how to build a company. We can help a lot in how to build a company. That's a lot more than probably I can help in how to build a game. So with that, we know companies go through, pre-seed, seed, Series A, Series B, and so on. And that's where having a fund the size of the Merak Gaming Fund of $82 million on your back and on your side is important, and I think that's ultimately, I think, where we're going is we want to help you take as many shots at the target, make as many mistakes without dying and burning the company down. So after the accelerator, you move to the discussion, the points, it comes with me and my team, and from there we're in it for the next 10 years, inshallah. You're gonna be sick of my face until then.
Amazing, Abdullah. So in the Merak Gaming Fund, we planned already for 4 batches. We executed batch 1 and batch 2. You can see the amazing success that has happened in those 2 batches with our amazing Exel Accelerator alumni. A lot of them are building in the ecosystem with us, interacting with you guys. And in the next webinar, we will be hosting some of the graduates from batch 1 and batch 2 to explain more about the experience that they had in the accelerator, to give you a hint and understand the program more. Now we are in batch 3, which is planned for this year, 26. And inshallah, we will have the batch 4 next year, bi'idhnillah. And inshallah for future batches. That's our plan right now, but the expanding of that program will be huge, inshallah, towards the future. Here, Abdullah, if you can give us a little bit about the funding and the structure of it.
Absolutely. So why we made a fund in this way? So you can fund gaming companies in different ways, but the most common one is to get funding from a publisher. But the difference between us and publishers is a publisher would put the money for the project itself, and they will recoup their investment from the top line sales of your product. From our side, we don't back a single product; we back the entire company. So we don't. So if a company was doing great but had one failed product, that's not the end of the world for us. That doesn't mean there is no more support or so on. No, we care about the long term of the company, building helping the company to grow massively. So we think this way we're aligning our incentives with the founder's incentive. So you're taking a lot of risk by being an entrepreneur and by choosing gaming. So we want to come in and take almost equal risk, put money in the company, not in the projects. We don't have a say on the project saying, don't make it that way, change it to that direction. That's left to your creative direction, and to pursue the endeavor that you think would make most money. We care about the projection or the commercial projection of the company. With that, we designed the program to run the entire gaming fund, including the accelerator, to have a good amount of money that can be allocated per entrepreneur to cover the entire cycle from pre-seed, seed, Series A, Series B. And hey, if you succeed and you end up being 100, 200, 300, $400 million company, I will be more than happy to pump the company with 50 million, 60 million, just get there. And to structure the funding in the most optimal way, where we're not taking revenue recoup from the company, at least not in this stage. Instead, we're in with you. You have equity, we have equity. We put money, you put your time and creativity. But that's kind of the way we looked at structuring the investment.
Thank you so much, Abdullah. Great insights on the structure of the fund and insights of Merak Gaming Fund. Thank you so much for that. When it comes to the eligibility criteria, I will give it to Kelly, our EIR, to explain more. But one of the important aspects that I want to highlight before giving it to Kelly, one is for the international companies and local companies. So the program allows both companies to join the program. We support international and local. International companies must relocate to Saudi Arabia, and we will help you with that process from the start until the end. So opening commercial registration, all the paperwork or the legal aspect, that's part of the support that we will give you in the accelerator. And for local companies, we recommend having a CR. If you don't have a CR, you can join us in the bootcamp, apply, and then join the bootcamp. And in the bootcamp, we can support you to get a CR to be eligible to join the accelerator. To you, Kelly, to explain what is the expected kind of startups to join the program.
So I think it's important that when you think of the program, our job is not to make or to provide what you need to make a great game. And that doesn't mean we're not expecting you to make a great game. Our job is to make you effective business leaders for growth in this industry, in the kingdom, and globally. I need you to be able to think at 30,000-foot level strategically, at 10,000-foot level, understanding the tactical map, and at boots ground level, which is actually executing at that level. We're not going to tell you what to do. We're going to give you the tools for you to decide. Each one of you founders are going to wear 30 hats. One of them is CEO, one of them is CTO, one of them is CFO. And what we'd like to do through the process is make sure you understand the languages of each of these areas, the language of finance, the language of legal, the language of product development, the language of operations. We're going to run you through these paces really at a pace and you need to think of this as a 14-week sprint. It's not a walk. You are going to be exhausted. You are going to make friends and you're going to make connections inside this 14 weeks that will transform you as a leader because you're going to learn more from each other than you possibly will from us. We're going to share our knowledge, our expertise, but it's really the team coming together with other teams that grows the strength of the cohort. And so the expectations are you have an MVP. We must be able to see what you're working on. You must have a strong team. That team does not need to be large. It needs to be a team that is strong, that has foundational elements in place, and that has made a commitment that you want to make games as a business. That's the distinction. And I'm going to elaborate that on real quickly. There's a concept called the hedgehog concept from Good to Great, Jim Collins, that find something you're really, really good at, a God-given skill. Find something that you love to do, and then find something you can make money at. And somewhere in the middle of those three are the sweet spot of where you need to be. I would ask each of you as you're going through the application process and evaluating this program, are you in your sweet spot? Are you fully committed? Is this something you love? Is this something you're good at? Right? And is this something you think you can make money at? And the reason I distinguish that is if you love it and you're good at it, but you can't make money, it's a hobby. We're not interested in the hobbies. We're interested in the growth and the opportunity and the dedication to it. Obviously, as you come into the program, we are going to ask you questions like, where's your target? Who's your audience? What's that market opportunity? The number one problem in the industry today is not great games. The number one problem is acquiring and keeping users. Finding a way to draw a revenue stream out of an audience that unfortunately is accustomed to short session experiences on TikTok and on video. We are finding a way to capture them, and it's that market potential and the traction associated with that builds towards the strength of the company. We need you committed to the program. You have to be boots on the ground. We're going to ask you to be there the entire duration, every single day. And in that commitment, it's part of your success criteria as well. What are we measuring? We're measuring your skills, your proficiencies, your commitment to the program, your commitment to each other. Are you guys working towards this common goal? If you don't play nice in the sandbox, question why. The scalability of your business is going to be based off those long-term objectives that you lay out, your portfolio. What are you doing that is unique? How do you distinguish your product? And where does that fall into your ability to grow? You are going to make a lot of mistakes, and we will actually help you through those mistakes. We expect you to make mistakes. I just don't expect you'll make the same mistake over and over again. And so our job is to come alongside. It's to reinforce, it's to give you knowledge, and it's to give you information and tools that you can build upon. Between the EIRs and the mentors coming in weekly, all of our efforts are to empower you to be effective business leaders and business community, really entrepreneurs in this space, in the kingdom. So that's in a nutshell what we're trying to do.
Amazing, Kelly. You always give me the goosebumps with your speeches. Amazing. Well said, Kelly. That's really shed the light on what is expected from those companies. It's a tough journey. We all know it, especially people who have done it before. It's really tough. It's challenging. Having someone that can support you, in our case, financially and technically, and even sometimes mentally, it's really important, I think, for those startups. So as I explained before, the program started with the boot camp, the 2-week boot camp. Then it goes to the 14-week accelerator, focusing on commercialization, monetization, how to release your game and self-publish or interact with publishers. Then we will have the demo day, and then the program continues till the boot camp. Till the boost program support. So what's expected out of you in this program? We expect you at the end of the program to have a beta and alpha out of your game, to release your demo at least. So we will help you build that model, and we'll give you the ambient time to grow it and to develop it. It's expected that you will be ready to pitch in front of investors, in front of publishers. We expect you to grow, to generate some revenue, to understand how to generate revenue, to build your audience, and then get interacted with key partners that can help you grow your company. And the most important, I would say, out of this program is to have a clear monetization strategy. How are you making money out of this game? It's not a hobby, as Kelly said, and Abdullah elaborated before. It's important to understand how to monetize your game. I don't know, gentlemen, if you have any comments on the expectation for the startup.
From my side, I think it's I want to echo again what Kelly said, which is it's not about teaching you how to build a game. It's about teaching you how to build a profitable, sustainable, and inshallah growing and ever-growing company. And as Kelly said, you start at the 30,000 feet, and then 10,000 feet, and then your boots on the ground. So it's practically a battle royale game, and just started already. Get going, and Kelly is gonna make everyone, it's gonna make you run a lot.
It's true.
Okay, yeah. So in this program, we don't support you guys only ourselves. We have sponsors, partners that can help you and support you guys in this program, be it from government entities that are supporting the program and giving the most support that they can to you guys and to the participants and to the program. and from private sector also. We have Microsoft, Huawei, AWS, Savvy, HP, Saudi Bridge, Quyud, True Gaming. All of those are supporting the program with benefits, with resources to the participants of the program. We have also knowledge partners who are supporting us to sharing knowledge with the participants who are joining, and definitely Merak as an investment partner to invest in you guys once joining the program. So a typical week in the accelerator, and I will let also Kelly maybe try to give you some insights since he was with us full time in the program for 14 weeks. He understands the typical weeks, but usually it's circles around having workshops, lectures from visiting mentors and from the EIRs, having one-to-ones with the Excel team, with your EIR, with visiting mentors. You'll be practicing a lot when it comes to pitching. What else, Kelly, that is usually happening in a typical week of the accelerator?
So there are weekly deliverables that each team will be required to create. Each of those deliverables are tied to some of the concepts I referred to earlier, which is understanding the knowledge. A general theme throughout the program is AI. And so we talk about AI, and one of the core tenets we have is we want you to use AI with knowledge and expertise, not make decisions based off ignorance and fear. And it's very important when we talk about AI, which is such an emotional topic, especially among creative folks. AI is here. It's not a question whether or not it's here. It's a question of how we choose to use it. And one of the reoccurring themes throughout this program is we empower you with choice. You can choose any business decision you choose, but you're going to choose it well and justify it. The program empowers you to grow your business. It also helps you identify who you are as a founders. It understands your strengths and your weaknesses. We will poke at your weaknesses. We will reinforce your strengths because you start with understanding who you are. You know, this industry is hard. It just starts there. We want to empower you to keep it from going stupid hard. Really, that's our goal. Is don't let it get to the point where it's just ridiculously hard, because it's already hard. And this program, remember, because it's hard, the program's hard. We're going to ask you to reflect on who you are as a leader. We're going to ask you to reflect on who you are as in your ambitions and your goals. It takes irrational confidence to be an entrepreneur in today's business. And we're going to feed that irrational confidence, because if you look at the stats, it doesn't make any sense. It's, in fact, the reason people become entrepreneurs, because they're going to prove everyone wrong. We have to come in with that perspective. Now, I'm from the States, so I bring a perspective that's slightly different, slightly skewed, and I think it's the variety of the views coming in from the entire cohort that strengthen it. It empowers you to do more with what you have and allows you to look at each of those things. We're going to teach you about public speaking. You're going to be pitching in front of us. We're going to be talking about operational realities. We're going to be talking about cash flow management. We're going to be talking about all of the things every single week that are important, measured, and really give you the tools to run a business. If your business fails and you're an entrepreneur, you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you do it again, because that's the entrepreneurial journey. If you're not up for the journey, if you're just looking to ship a game, ask yourself why. Because it's already hard. You might as well do the rest and figure out how to do it well and turn it into a lifelong pursuit. I've been doing this for 40 years, and I have never wanted to do anything other than games. I didn't know when I joined the industry in '85 I wanted to do games. I fell into it, but then I fell in love with it. Are you in love with it? And is this what you want to do? And are you willing to strike out and try? If you are, apply. You can always say no. The opportunity is for you to learn and know. And once you know, you can choose. And we're going to empower you to choose. And every week, it's really about choice. Where are you? What are you doing? What decisions are you making?
Amazing, Kelly. Thank you so much for that. With that, I think we conclude the recap or the rundown of the program. Hopefully, what we explained gave you a hint about the program, the selection criteria, the journey, the structure, what is expected from you guys. And I am definitely assured that you will have a lot of questions. So that's your time to ask it. We are here to answer your questions. And to you, Dima, to moderate the questions.
Thank you, Faisal. Thank you, Faisal, Kelly, and Abdul. We'll go now to our questions. We have a couple that we're going to answer now, but just a reminder to everyone, you can submit your questions in the Q&A section of the webinar, and we will do our best to answer everything. So for the first question, this one mostly will be with Abdul and Faisal as well. Do we have certain categories or genres that we look at when selecting the startups that apply to the accelerator?
No, it's practically open. Come in with whatever you have, and regardless of any direction we have, apply, put your data in our database, because we have Cohort 4 and we have other investments to make. So it's good to be there. But generally, we don't have any direction on the genre. Go for it.
Faisal, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think Abdullah well said it. Yeah.
Perfect.
No
So
problem.
another question that we got that was repeated was the in-person attendance of the accelerator. We had a lot of teams that are working remotely. Some of them outside of Saudi, some of them are in Saudi. What is the commitment requirement like for the accelerator? Who needs to be there in person and who can be working remotely?
I'll be taking that. So it's important to have at least one of the founders attending the program, preferably the CEO or the man or the one who's leading the show, because we will be focusing on the company structure, making decisions that will impact the structure of the company itself and the direction of the studio. So it's really important to have someone that can make decisions for the company.
Thank you, Faisal. So a question for Abdul. Now we know that the Gaming Accelerator is curated for gaming startups. However, we have a lot of questions from gaming tech companies or companies within the gaming industry that aren't producing games. They're asking if there's a path for them within the fund itself.
100%. So we do invest in gaming and we do invest in gaming technologies. Though for the accelerator, I still apply regardless because I want your data. Because this is what we do every cohort. The ones that apply, the ones who make it through, that's great. We tag those who, for instance, are technology and they don't make sense for the current accelerator. And what we do is we go back and we talk to them. So apply, give us your data so we can have you in our pipeline. We reach out again and we start discussions outside of the accelerator.
Thank you, Abdullah. Another question for you, Abdullah, as well. We're getting a lot of questions regarding the equity. Before we get to them, can you explain in human terms for anyone that's new to equity and investment, what does it exactly mean for gaming startups?
Okay, so equity is practically a percentage from your company. So you own your company. When you created it, it has 100 shares or so. When we come in, we'll ask for 10 shares or so. That's just in the air. We'll take the shares. You keep your shares. You'll keep, the overwhelming majority of the company between you and the founders. We'll take a small chunk of it for the investment. And yeah, that's generally as a founder of any company, that's what you do when we say you raised funding. You raise funding in one of two ways. Either it's through credit, where someone is just giving you a loan and expects interest and expects you to pay him back, or you raise it through equity. When we say equity, is you sold a piece of the company. That's what we mean.
Awesome. Thank you. And based on that question, the repeated question that we're getting is how do you typically structure equity for each startup? Is it a case by case or is there a standard that we're following?
So this is a multi-layered question. So when it comes to the instrument itself that's being used for the investment, it's the same instrument. It's a safe note or a convertible note, which is we use convertible notes for one reason. It's really fast. We can do it fast, and we can sign fast, and we can pass our compliance within the company fast, so we can transfer the money again fast. This is the idea of the instrument. The other discussion point is probably around the amount and the valuation and so on. It's a blanket term across all. Yeah, it's a blanket term across all. However, if I really, really, really like you, and I think you're a crazy good company, crazy good entrepreneur, come talk to me and let's see. But you're gonna have to contend with negotiating with me. So there is that.
Okay, thank you. So I do have another question, and it will come in two parts. One I think can be answered by either Faisal Abdillah, another by Kelly. So we have teams that are currently developing games, but they are not officially registered as companies. Can they still apply? And if yes, what does that mean for them in terms of program? Is it going to affect their progress? Is it something that will, let's say, they will need to catch up to compared to other companies that are registered, or is it something that they can work with in our program?
I will take that, Abdullah, if you allow me. So even if you don't have a CR, you should apply to the accelerator. As I explained before, you will have the bootcamp phase where you can get to know more about the program, interact with us, and see are you continuing or not. If yes, you will have our legal team to support you in registering your company and creating the legal company structure if you're a Saudi and even if you are an international company. And we will have a 1 month gap between the bootcamp and the accelerator. In that time, you can set up your legal structure, interact with the investment team to build all of the legal aspects of finalizing the deal and finalizing all the paperwork needed to join the program. So even if you don't have to summarize, even if you don't have a CR, you can apply to the accelerator and we will help you with that process in the program.
Thank you, Faisal. And that takes us to the second part of the question. Abdullah, do you have something to add?
No, I think when it comes to if you have a company ready or not yet ready, regardless, apply, give us your information, and because there is another cohort coming up, and you don't know what's going to come up later. It's a lot. It doesn't cost you anything. It's a lot better that you're within our systems than you're a new person that we don't know.
Perfect.
Yeah, even if you think you are at the early stage, as Abdullah said, you have the fourth cohort as a chance to be part of it. If you apply right now, you will get notified once the fourth cohort opened. And by that time, you will have maybe your vertical slice or MVP ready, and you would be more ready to join the program.
And on a high level, legalities are not going to be if you're a really good entrepreneur and if it's an interesting direction and strategy. We're not going to let legalities be the issue that stop us from joining your journey. So I'd say just because again, frankly, companies quote unquote they're just as I always say it's two sticks and duct tape. We're really betting everything on you guys. So I don't care you have the paper, you don't have the paper, we'll get the paper. But show me a lot more of who you are and what you are and what you're capable of, and we'll get the paper.
Guys, it's important to realize investors invest in people first. That's the primary focus, who actually have the skills to produce and run a company and create something of worth. So think of it strictly from that standpoint. In this case, it happens to be for gaming or gaming technology. But it's really about you and the team and faith, because the investment is largely based off faith. And then we ask you to validate it. And so the process you go through is that validation. It's constant reaffirming the credibility that you come in with, and then affirming that credibility over time. And credibility is first and foremost in every aspect.
Thank you so much. So another question would be regarding what we just mentioned, which is the relocating aspect of it. How does it usually work? What do we cover at Excel? What do we support with? What's the journey with specifically companies that are relocating to Saudi Arabia, since the steps for them is requires more supports?
Okay. So in the program, we have a dedicated team that will support you with all the processes and legal aspects needed for you to set up a company here in Saudi Arabia, get the investment in that entity, set up a bank account and all the legal papers needed, get iqamas or visas for the founders and the team. All of this are covered under the program. We offer it in the program for all international companies who are joining us from abroad. It's really important to understand, for all international companies, you have to relocate to Saudi Arabia to get the investment and to get accepted in the program. But it's really important to highlight the future that you'll be encountering here in Saudi. The program is not the end. There is a huge continuous aspect when it comes to Merak Gaming Fund. There's possibility of getting a follow-on investment from the fund. There is a lot of huge opportunities to grow your company here. I hope this answers the question, Steve.
I want to add to that on just answering a question that I have, which is why relocation. To answer this question is let's look at the global, let's say, state of gaming in general. So the gaming market generally, it's growing, not bad, growing 5-6% or so in terms of the amount of revenues that it's generating. But what's growing a lot faster is the amount of games that are out. So if we look at it in terms of, let's say, revenue per game released, you will find that it's practically, it's a limit tending to zero. It converges to zero at the end of the day. That's one. And another, so this is one factor that's squeezing the market. Another factor that's squeezing the market is VC investments in gaming are the lowest in the last 10 years or so. So, and from the, let's say, the height of like 2021, 2022, they lost about 80-90%. And when we say gaming, they always combine both, which is the gaming technologies and the studios, which is the content. If you try to isolate studios alone, like game development studios alone, you will find that it's not even 90% down. It's a lot. I'll be surprised if like there is still 5% of it there, and there is a reason for that, which is it's very difficult to build an amazing gaming company. It's a difficult endeavor. So every investor looks at it from this perspective of, I could put it in a game development company, or I could put it in an AI company, quote unquote, and have other investors put more money in my AI company and so on. So with all that's happening, Saudi is very unique in that it's, nope, we're supporting game development studios. Most of the fund is going for game development studios that create content. So this is on one side. On the other side, all the other, let's say, support programs that are there. Ultimately, why I care about it is it's easier for me to make the investment, and I want to get you all the support that I can get you within my jurisdiction that I'm good at, and lower the risk on me and you. And why is it on me and you? Because we're both equity holders. So that's why it is practically. And look at, for instance, I mean, you could look at our fund, the Merak Gaming Fund. It's $82 million as a gaming dedicated fund for content. It's one of the largest like globally generally, and it's the largest in MENA. And it's, if we can like take a look at the funds that are focused on content, or a single fund, not a whole company, you will find even in Europe we're like one of the largest ones if we add Europe to it. And this is we know this is just the beginning. So for my sake of investments, it makes a lot of sense to me that you're here, you're getting the value that's to be gotten here. And if it makes sense to me as an equity shareholder, it should make sense to you as an equity shareholder as well in the company.
Amazing. Well said, Abdullah. Thank you for that.
Right, Dima.
Thank you. So another question also, we have a lot of questions regarding investment and funding, rightfully so. This question asks about when do they actually receive the money? Is it at the beginning of the program, at the end of it? What's the nature of that?
We'll do it this way. If all your legal setup is ready, meaning there is a company, there is an acceptable bank account that we can make a transfer to, then what we're gonna do is if day one you're ready, I'm gonna split the investment in two. I'm gonna give you half the money right now. I'm gonna give you the other half once the three people in front of you, Faisal, Kelly, and Dima, approve that you finished the accelerator and in good standing and so on. Because they're gonna run the accelerator, I'm gonna run the fund and the investments. It depends on readiness. If you're ready from day zero, we'll sign the documents, we'll do the governance, checks and compliance and so on. And then boom, I'll give you like 50% right away, 50% after the day. The moment you're done, the moment I get signed papers from Faisal Sidrani saying that these guys are good, go ahead, I'll give you the second amount.
Amazing. That's why, Abdullah, we have the time before the accelerator for all the companies to finalize their legal aspects. And once the program started, hopefully everyone is ready to receive that first investment or first tranche.
We know it's tough, but the moment we're committed, as long as you don't, mess up massively, we're happy to work with you until there is a legal setup that makes sense.
So, I'll switch to non-investment related questions for a bit before we go back to them. Now regarding the bootcamp, Kelly, Faisal, you might be able to answer this one. What are the outputs that you expect from the startups that will help their case get into the actual accelerator later on? What do you evaluate? What do you look at during the bootcamp phase?
I'll take first phase on this one. Basically, we meet with each of you one-on-one throughout the 2-week program. We're assessing your product. We're assessing your business model. We're assessing your leadership. We're coaching and mentoring through the entire process. What we're looking for is opportunity and potential. What we're looking for is me personally, from my operational experience, I'm looking at your personality. I'm looking at your leadership skills. I'm looking at your ability to communicate. I'm looking at your ability to effectively manage a team, and what that team's involvement is, and the parts going back and forth. It's comprehensive in the fact we're covering a wide gamut of it. It's not a black and white assessment because every individual founder has strengths and weaknesses. I'm more interested in whether or not you have weaknesses that you fundamentally don't know about, and does that awareness of those weaknesses change the approach? And so, don't look at this as a test, because it's not. It's more of a self-awareness journey that you're going to go through as we look to see which one of these companies have potential post-investment. And that's key. Remember, it's not, I may love your game, but if you can't validate how you're going to sell your game, my passion for your game may not be enough to get you into the program. I need as close to a full package as we can get. And so part of that is we're going to live together for 14 weeks. So we all need to have these goals, and we are looking for breadth and scale. I don't have in mindset, oh, I only like RPGs, although that's what I play. I don't only like, teams with 5 or 7 or 12 or 15 or 30 or 60 people. We had teams in Cohort 2 that were three-man teams that did amazing work. So it's not this black and white benchmark for the process. It's broad and it's deep. And certain individuals, for example, they may not have strength in certain areas of the business, but if we feel like we can fill that gap, that's not going to limit them from going in. So I guess the first decision each of you need to make is, do you choose to apply? Because it's an adventure. And so if you can overcome the hesitation of, well, ask yourself, what have you got to lose? Does it change where you are today? It could, but if you don't apply, it won't. So that's the trick. The measurable deliverables during the program, to address that specifically, we're going to expect that you're creating a presentation deck. You're going to be making a presentation at the end of the program. We're expecting you're going to try to convince us through your credibility, through your traction, through your performance, through what you're showing us from you and your team, that you're worthy of the investment, that you passionately want to be included in this program. The fact that we go from, whatever the hundreds of applications, thousands of applications we get to, a group of 60 to a group of 20 means somebody's not going to get in the program.
Yeah.
That's okay. If you don't apply, you will not get in the program. If you do apply, you at least have a chance to get in. You get to meet with us and engage. And if you want to do business in the kingdom, why wouldn't you? So it really comes down to that where you are, can you do it? Can you accommodate the expectations? And more importantly, do you want to learn? Do you want to grow? And do you want to do this? And that's where it starts, because the passion, the desire is far more important at this stage than really any other aspect, because we're just starting the journey. It's a lifelong journey. So sorry for the ramble.
No, amazing. The only thing that I want to add to that is assessing also the founder response to feedback. Is he able to get feedback, apply it, understand why we gave that feedback, or why the mentors or the experts gave you that feedback, and the ability of you implementing that or adding that or arguing with the mentor about that aspect. It's really important. Your commitment also is really important when it comes to assessing your progression in the program, in the bootcamp specifically.
Awesome. Thank you, Rod. Just to re-emphasize on it, I know that we've just elaborated on the assessment and evaluation of the startup's commitment and performance during the bootcamp, but prior to the bootcamp, we're getting questions regarding the revenue. If there are startups with no revenue or traction yet, what do you look at in their application that you would say shows potential of a team and a startup?
For that, assessing the team is a big part. Another part is, did you do a good job in figuring out your strategy or no? Can I glean from the way we discuss things, from the way you do your pitch deck and so on, that you did the right due diligence, that you had the right, let's say, acumen in place to get to that level. So we meet all kinds of founders. Some of them, when we ask them, why are you building this company? They'll be like, look at this game. The main character is a cat ninja. It's cool. It's cool. I agree 100%. But that doesn't build a game. It's a cool feature or a cool product. It builds a game, sorry, it doesn't build a company. Versus another person who would come in and say, no, we built these systems. We can, let's say, reuse them again for multiple companies. The way we find a niche in the market is to do 1, 3, 4. Because I know ultimately everyone wants to build their pure creative endeavor. But you get to do that when you're successful. Because at the end of the day, you're not taking a shot at, I don't know, opening a fledgling supermarket. You're taking a shot at the holy grail of entrepreneurship. It's making hundreds of millions of dollars out of making games. That's the holy grail of entrepreneurship, to me at least. With that, you're going to have to do a few sacrifices. You're going to have to take more risks. You're going to have to put some projects a bit for later, and then work on things that have more traction. Because at the end of the day, what we're giving you is I'm giving you multiple bullets, and the target is there. I want to give you as many bullets as I can. But if I give you $100,000 and you want to, well, let's say if I give you $1 million and you're going to build a game that costs $5 million already. It's like, okay, what I gave you turned it into a fifth of a bullet versus I give someone $1 million, they can prototype, I don't know, 17 games in a quarter, and they're looking at this niche, and then they were able to get a publisher interested here and another investor interested there. They turned it into multiple shots at the target. So if one fails, it's not the end of the world. But for that guy who put the whole $1 million into a single bullet, if that fails, it is the end of the world, for at least for me as an investor in the company. So that's kind of on a high level what we care about. It's like, how are you thinking about this from a commercial perspective? And another part is, are you capable? Like, were you able to build something, or am I gonna have to invest with someone that never built anything? And above all, that it's going to be very important during the boot camp is coachability. Are you a person that we can coach, we can help, we can, or are you extremely hard-headed? So some hard-headedness makes sense, but are you like over or not? And that's where we get the support from Kelly, from the guys, from everyone. That's practically why there is a boot camp. It's to weed out those who are going to be really difficult or will not be able to make it in the accelerator. So from the get-go, let's not commit with anyone who wouldn't be able to make it through.
I want to reemphasize, we don't tell you what games to make. We are going to challenge you to validate why you're making those games.
100%. It's not the product itself, it's the process. I was like, why? Just explain it to me. If the reasoning makes sense, we're happy to jump in. Not even that it makes sense. If there was a process behind your reasoning that you actually, okay, you have a process, but it led you to a bad direction. That's not the end of the world. That happens a lot. But at least the core component of who you are is there. It's just the right component is there, which is you had a process from the get-go.
By the way, that topic could be, like 3 hours long. Sorry, guys. It's just there's a lot there.
Which is why I'm jumping in to stop this. Of course, we're going to go to as many questions as we can. However, if you want to elaborate with more questions, our email is here. Feel free to email us and we will make sure to answer. But we'll move on a bit from this topic to another question that's more Excel oriented, away from the accelerator itself. So, Faisal Sadrani, there's a question regarding the engagement of the Excel, which is the accelerator partner for these startups, post-program and a couple of years ahead. What would you say as CEO of Excel would be a success metric for your engagement currently with the startups and what it looks like in the future?
So it's really important to emphasize that we are trying to create an Excel Gaming Accelerator community that they can support each other. That community will go a longer way. There is no expiration date on that. It will continue, hopefully, for lifetime. The graduates from this 4 cohorts and the future cohorts, inshallah, the people who joined the program will be eligible to go into that. Even the people who joined the bootcamp, so the 50-60 who joined or accepted in the bootcamp will be also in that community to support each other. We create events that are targeted to engage this community We do game testing regularly with our cohorts. We do community events, gatherings, to try to you also adding partners to that community so they can elevate it. When it comes to success metrics for people who join the accelerator, I would say they will be a superstar. It will be a success for us and for them. Having someone like a local champion who really benefited out of this program and got that benefit into real use, created amazing games in the future, and people will look up to that startup or that company that I want to be the same as this company. So I would say this is one of the most important success story that I will look into, and having that vibrant community that will go a very, very long way.
You're mute, Dima.
You're muted, Dima.
Am I still muted? Okay.
No.
I think you can hear me now, hopefully.
Yes. Okay.
Awesome. So another question for you, Abdulillah. We do have questions regarding the structure of the company that's gonna be formed in Saudi once they relocate. Can it be a branch of a different company that has their headquarters or their main company in a different country?
So if you have a holding company and below it you have multiple companies that the holding company owns it, the important part is that our investment will come on the holding company. That goes without saying, and the holding company has to be in one of two jurisdictions practically. That makes sense, and this could change by the time the accelerator happens, which is either Saudi or ADGM, which is Abu Dhabi Global Markets. But I would say that discussion, keep it for later. Right now, look at how you would get into the boot camp, and after the boot camp, if you're great and you pass the boot camp, we'll talk.
Okay, thank you, Abdulillah. So we have too many questions for you, so I'm gonna just follow up with one more. We had the question regarding the safe note and the basically the convertible safe note. What does it mean?
What does it mean? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So as I mentioned, we're doing an equity investment. And an equity investment is we want to buy a piece of the company. So what you have to do is you have to buy some shares. But buying shares takes a long time. It requires something called it depends on where you are, but it also requires something called a share purchase agreement. And with it, you have to edit something called the shareholders agreement, and with it, the article of association, or if you're a Delaware company, there are 5 Delaware papers. Each one is as grueling as the other. So it's annoying. So to avoid all that paperwork, there is a common instrument or a common paper called a safe note. And a safe note is a simple, what is it? Safe, S-A-F-E, simple, simple, what is it? Simple something for future equity. I forgot. Simple, let me just Google it. Simple agreement for future equity, yes. So the idea is it's you promise we're gonna buy this many shares, you promise we're gonna buy this many shares. All right, here's the money. That's it. And what happens with this instrument is it converts later. Converts to what? Converts to shares. Based on what? If the instrument says that we're gonna own, let's say, 10% of the company, then it converts to the number of shares that equal to 10% of the company. This is me making it super high level, super simple. But there are multiple layers to it. It's like, when does it convert? Which one? What the valuation? What about the other of multiple safes? A lot of points of discussion that we will get through in the boot camp. And once we're investors, I will be your legal guy or your investment guy, whatever you need. But for now, think of it this way: it's a way to buy into the company, but quickly. That's it.
Thank you. Kelly, question for you. So how do you support a solo team, or let's say a solo founder or a small team within Accelerator as their mentor or as their entrepreneur in residence?
One of the opportunities we have as EIRs is to custom tailor our feedback to the specific needs of the group. There were certain teams in Cohort 2 that did not need certain areas, and they demonstrated their skills, their expertise in those areas of the business. So they weren't, they had to demonstrate that they had those skill sets, but we weren't necessarily needing to mentor them. And I think when you look at it, it's going to come down to who you are as a leadership team, what you're trying to create. One of the challenges every development team has is their eyes are bigger than their stomach, right? So, they look at their product and they go, okay, I've got access to this amount of money, but I want to build a game that competes against Fallout 4. And there's a reality check in the process. I love, by the way, I call it the BHAG, the big, hairy, audacious goal. I love the ambition. I want to see the ambition, but I also want to bring it down to that tactical level of what is it you need to do? How do we get you to where you shine in front of your stakeholders, your partners in this process? You shine with your community and your engagement with the consumer, and you shine when you ship your product through success. But that success is based off of the investment. If you have a successful game that's profitable and growing, and you invested $100,000, that's still success. It's a stepping stone. If you got $7 million and you create a game that's profitable and successful with the consumers, it's still success. So the criteria varies based off who the team is, based off where the requirements are, because it's through those experiences as you go through the entrepreneurial journey that you become grander, that you become more, and that opportunity excels. And there's an interesting concept in today's market that we're afraid of failure. We shouldn't be afraid of failure. It doesn't mean we shoot for failure. We accept failure because all the learnings we went to get there build us much stronger for the next round. And so these are all the challenges that I think exist within the process. And our goal as EIRs and mentors and the entire Excel team is to help in any way we can move you towards that objective. Because you eventually have to leave the bubble of the accelerator and go out into the real world and actually ship a game. And so that journey, this is one step. It'll be absolutely engaging while you're there. And then you've got that window where you realize, oh shoot, reality's still waiting for me. I gotta actually finish this and get it out the door. Those are, if those excite you, that's good. If you're like, then ask yourself, where's your mindset? This is a mindset game. This is an effort game. This is an energy game. Making games is a physical sport. It's block and tackle. It's not a passive. It's not an observational sport. It's actually get in the trenches and do what needs to be done. And unfortunately, each team doesn't know what to do until they actually dive in and start to look at the challenges. I hope that helps.
I want to add one thing about failure that Kelly talked about, which in our business, in venture capital, and what we call ourselves risk investors, we never call anyone who, let's say, built a company and the company died or failed or so. We never call it, yeah, he's a failed entrepreneur. No one says that. We say he's a second-time entrepreneur, second-time founder. And that gives them immediately that if on the scorecard, if there is anything called a second-time founder, that gives you like 50% boost above anyone else, right? Because you've been through it. We know you've been through it. And there are massive funds like in the US and even locally and everywhere I've looked that only invest in what you would consider failed founders, or like someone who built a company and failed. So because it's an insane learning experience that you can never, that 99.9% of humanity will never do. You will be one of the very few people who will ever do that. They're very rare. So whenever we catch one, we immediately boost them, and we'll be happy to have them. I'm sure you have a billion questions around the valuation and the equity and how things changes, and what about the shares? And there's a billion questions. I would say it's impossible to go through them all, but focus on one thing right now. The next step is get accepted. So right now, not even bootcamp, get accepted to the about 100 companies that are going to go to the investment committee, and the investment committee is going to slash them down to 50, and then we're going to take you to the boot camp, and out of the 50 we're going to slash out of you. So think of these things. Everything else, the moment we're like we've let's say we've run through all the gates, and you succeeded and you survived and you keep going and you're doing great, by then start asking about these things, I would say, because by then we can discuss. Right now, there's nothing, there is none. So focus on like what's ahead of you immediately. And I would say there isn't probably in the world anyone willing to take this kind of risk as much as the Excel Gaming Accelerator. So I mean, be great, be happy that you're one of the people that got the call, or let's say that saw the accelerator, and work to get to the next steps and so on. Because you will never. I think there isn't a lot of companies and accelerators that would be as friendly and as, let's say, as founder friendly as we could be.
Thank you, Abdul. So there's two questions I'll answer right away to give our speakers a small break before we continue with some final questions. There's questions regarding the schedule of the bootcamp and the accelerator itself. The virtual bootcamp will be from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. with the scheduled sessions being, or the lectures being, from 6 p.m. until 9, and then from 9 to 11 and from 9 to 11 are 2 hours dedicated for one-on-one mentorships. You can book some time with our AARs, or you can book some time with the mentors that are within the bootcamp, or even the program team. So that's regarding the virtual online bootcamp. As for the accelerator itself, that's in person in Riyadh. It runs from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. of scheduled sessions, dedicated time for one-on-ones, as well as allocated time for your own development and work on your deliverables and your company and products. So with that, I'll move to just a couple of our final questions, and then we'll have some words from our speakers. As I mentioned before, you can always send your questions in our email, where we would be more than happy to answer them. So one last question for you each. Faisal Sadrani, you mentioned earlier how the week would look like for the startups, but from someone that was on ground, someone that saw the journey of the startups, can you tell me a bit more about some exact information about what their week would look like? What's the pace like in the program?
So the program, definitely, Dina, thank you so much for that question, and for our listeners and people who joined. So the program is a fast-paced program. There is a lot of crunching time that you have to do. Usually the typical week would go about, we have a visiting mentor. So each week will have a dedicated theme, okay? Each theme, we will have a visiting mentor that will come to give you the insights and lectures and workshops on that theme. For example, let's take art design. So we will have a dedicated week dedicated to art. We will have a visiting mentor that is expert in art and art design. He will be giving you workshops, lectures. He will be hands with you guys to uplift your art and direction. He will give you some AI tools, explaining it, how to develop your art direction. And then you will have time for one-on-ones with that visiting mentor. In the week, you will have also one-on-one checking with the dedicated EIR. So every group of startups who join the accelerator will have a dedicated EIR that will help them in the process of the 14 weeks. So at that week, you will have dedicated one-to-ones with them. And at the end of the week, you will have simple deliverables out of the theme of that week. So for example, the example that we mentioned right now, which is art, you will have to deliver some deliverable related to art. So before and after, something like that. So I hope this answers your question, Dima. One more thing that I forget to mention, that you will have to pitch every week. So at the beginning of every week, you will pitch for 5 to 6 minutes for the visiting mentor. So he can know about your startup, and you will be practicing and improving your pitch throughout the weeks.
Thank you, Faisal. And one last question for Abdelilah, and then I'm going to do one more question with you, Kelly. Abdelilah, for the pitch that's required during the application from the startups, as an investor, as someone that will be evaluating the initial applications, what do you look for in a startup's pitch?
Okay. You mean okay, so let's talk about the one that's the big one, the important one that's at the end of the boot camp. I think ultimately what matters is a cohesive strategy for the company. Matters a lot to me that you look at it from a company perspective and not from a game perspective, and that you have reasoning behind the game you're building, and not that it's cool, or that you've been nostalgic to play Earthbound, and so you created Earthbound to continue, or 3 to continue the story, or so on. It's cool, it's great. I'm happy for you, but it has to be something bigger and a lot more substantial. The other aspect that we look for is financial understanding. So you'll be expected to, for instance, ask for an amount. So that amount that you ask for has to have some substantiation behind it. Like, why are you asking for this? Where is this going? And you should expect questions like this to come. Most of the time we don't really ask a lot about anything that's outside of the pitch, but when you put anything in the pitch, I expect it to be well cooked and not something that's done quickly without anything behind it, because it comes that we will scrutinize certain pieces and what you have. And another part is we do test founders for their ability to take feedback, because sometimes we do it in an annoying way, just to provoke and see who would do well. Because I think I think I'm nice, but I know that not everyone in any industry will be like this, and especially anyone with money. And you want to be able to talk to anyone with the money, with the power that can expend that money, that power your way, and still stomach what they have. So if from the smallest touches a person is immediately grumbling or like not responsive, that's problematic. And that's why we make everyone pitch every week, and at the end of, I think, in the middle, we will come in and we will ask questions, and we will rate, and Abdallah Tamami, our CEO, will come in, and we'll have other VCs as well come in and rate. So it's just to put you under that kind of pressure, so you learn by practice.
Thank you, Abdelilah. And to our last question with Kelly, a lot of companies applying, or startups that are applying, come from different stages, and you've witnessed it firsthand that in our second cohort we had a diversity in teams when it comes to how in which stage they're at when it comes to their product, their company, the type of challenges that they face. Some of them are concerned that their own current challenges are things they need direction for. How do you, as an entrepreneur in residence, address those challenges, and how do you support support them best during the accelerator, given how different they can be?
Well, one of the advantages of the program is we very quickly work with you to discover the areas of your business that you're weak. You're probably coming in with that mindset already. You know your strengths, you know what you're passionate about, you know what you do day to day, and you look at things like, well, I don't know how to build a go-to-market strategy. I mean, one of the more obvious statements, how do you build a P&L for Steam? What does that look like? Right? We have tools that you're going to get that said, this is the process you use. One of the things that I think it's important to emphasize here, we are going to encourage you to ask any question, and we guarantee we're going to give you an answer. We just don't guarantee you'll like the answer, and you liking the answer doesn't make it right or wrong. And so we're going to encourage you to be confident and bold. And we're going to ask you to be patient and empathetic. And we're going to ask you to be, almost overconfident and humble. All of these conflicting things that are associated with your business. And as you go through the journey, we're going to craft that skill set. I really don't understand the language of finance. I don't understand the way that the numbers work. Me personally, I'm lousy at math. The good news is there's some great tools out there, some of them AI, some of them just spreadsheet based that we can use to solve those challenges. The marketing, the consumer acquisition, one of the big challenges, social media. What does it look like? How do we get there? All of these unique individual challenges, and every team's going to be a slightly different place. If you're hungry to learn, we're there to actually help you with that growth and that opportunity. But we're expecting that you have done your homework. We're expecting that you have looked at your business. The fact is, there's more information on the net about many of these topics right now that you can use so you can start to understand the concepts. And then what we're going to do in boot camp is we're going to walk you through the process, because we need you to stand up when you give your presentation and blow us away and just impress the heck out of us. And not because we think you're going to be $1 billion company next year, but because we believe you have foundational to be a great company in the future. And that's going to be the difference between those who get in and those who don't.
Thank you so much, Kelly. And now we only have 4 minutes. Before I wrap up, do you guys have any words that you can share with our audience? Anyone that's interested to apply, any tips that you would love to share? The floor is yours.
Go ahead, Abdullah.
Right. I would say definitely apply. These opportunities come, not very often in life. Take the plunge, take the risk, and it's people who are asking you to take the risk with you. And I would say go for it. And again, I don't think there is anything you lose by going for it. It's tough, of course, but at the same time, it's a really good badge to hang. Whether you succeed or you don't. But anyways, I look forward to seeing you all, inshallah, in the boot camp, and look even more forward to making hundreds of millions of dollars, inshallah, together.
Thank you for that. So definitely, I urge you guys to apply. Being an entrepreneurship, as we said before, and I repeat again, it's a tough journey. It's a journey that no sane person will go and do it again. Speaking of from experiences, from an entrepreneur that have done it before and failed, it's a very tough journey. So having someone to support you alongside that, having someone to guide you what is right, what is wrong, it's priceless, guys. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to apply and get that support from us.
So guys, sometimes it feels like we're crushing your soul when you talk about how hard the journey is. But the difference is that the understanding that it's hard doesn't mean you shouldn't pursue it. If you look at all of your weaknesses and you go, we're just not ready, why don't you let us help you decide that? What have you got to lose? Why don't focus on your weaknesses? Focus on your strengths. Focus on what you're doing now, because you're probably doing more than you think. You're probably better at it than you think you are. And so we're going to help you bolster that confidence. We're going to help you grow. We're going to help you go through the process. Will everybody get in? No. Will everybody get accepted? No. But I can tell you, you distinguish yourself by applying. You distinguish yourself by going through the thought process. If you don't, as I said, then the opportunity is not even available to you. You choose. And we hope you choose to apply. More importantly, some of those big questions you have, that's part of the journey. You know, if you can convince us to get you into the boot camp, you know, as you go through this process, you get to ask these questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. And, you know, we as a team are actually looking forward to you being successful. We need you to be successful. We need the kingdom needs you to be successful and build a community in games. And I've got stories to share around that. So you choose, and we hope to see you there.
Thank you so much, Khalid. Thank you, Abdulillah. Thank you, Faisal. And thank you to everyone who joined us today. This will be the end of this webinar. However, as a reminder, we do have another one coming up next week. We will be posting it in our socials. You can register early on to attend it. And for the applications, just a reminder, we have one more week of our applications, so you can still apply. And if you have any more questions, we would love to answer them and support your journey through the application phase. On our email that you can find in our website, excelbymerak.com, or even in our socials on LinkedIn, Excel by Merak. We have the same handle on X as well. You can reach out, and whatever you need, we'll be happy to answer. Thank you all for joining today again, and hoping to see you in the bootcamp and the accelerator. Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a great day,
everyone.
everyone.
Be good.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys.